Yes. Just the top one. There might be different ones because people customize it, but standard RGB is what's going to work on all the monitors. So the great thing about having accessories on their own layer is I can tweak them just little bits, like so. And once I'm happy with how everything's lined up, now I'm just going to stay on my refined paint layer with my refined paint brush at an opacity in the 30s. And I'm just going to steal colors from myself, be zoomed in a little bit, but never more than 200%. And refine this painting. Now the key is to work on as much of it all at one time as you can. So not to get stuck in one area, but you do have to figure out kind of a finish that you like in one area. And what I don't like are these kind of really chunky lines, right? These need to get blended. But I also want to keep bringing color into them. So the underside of the nose, it could be a little bit more shaded, but I can do that with some color. And then I'll teach you how to blend as well. But it's so much harder to get hard edges back from soft edges that you blend than it is to soften hard edges, that I try to keep everything with my custom brush as long as I can. And you can see the difference that that custom brush is making, like to the shape of the nose, kind of refining it as we go. And you still try to keep the energy up, and you still try to be bold with your shapes. But you're going for a finish now. So green, when you changed it to standard RGB, did it make it look different on your tablet? Good. That just codes the colors in a way that other monitors can perceive them, right? Because tablets have different print gammas than standard monitors. I mean, it just depends. It's how they mix. So yeah, LED versus plasma. There are what are called print gammas or color gammas. That's what RGB is. That gives parameters for the color on the device. And you just want to make sure that when you print it, your print gamma is matching what you're printing it from. So that's why we always want to make sure they look good on these monitors before we print them, because these monitors are the sRGB, the standard RGB gamma that our printers are set to. And your Photoshop file is RGB, not index color or CMYK? Oh, okay. Now, even though my accessory of the glasses is on a different layer, I am doing refined paint over the top of everything. So I can soften the edges of the glasses if I want. I can add cast shadows. I can make them a little bit messier if I want. And this is mostly blending, which is why I'm using such an open brush and a low opacity. I just keep my finger hovering over the option button so I can just steal color as I need it until I'm happy with that paint surface. So that doesn't look very finished, right? But now with my blending brush, that helps a lot. I got to do the same thing over here. Bring a lot of these colors in. But the underpainting still shows through because I'm only at 30%. And so I actually don't like to use the smudge tool too much because it just makes everything into the same pixel color. I like to build up this kind of really, really complex paint texture from using these low opacity custom brushes. Because the brush is helping to blend and the opacity is helping to blend. But I'm also not going for photorealism, which this would also work for. I'm just using bolder colors. You think it's the limitations of Canvas? Okay. Open it up. How do you have it saved? So when you look it up on your OneDrive, what kind of file is it? A PNG. Okay. So if you open up that PNG in Photoshop, see how it looks there. Because what we can do is change it to a CMYK mode and kind of reset its gamma, how it's coding its colors. So the issue we're having in class is a student is using Procreate on a tablet, and then the color is not translating correctly when they post it into Canvas. And so we're trying to get it into a standard gamma, the way that the device handles the colors. Now I'm zoomed in at 100% right now. It's tempting to zoom in more, but I try to not let myself zoom in more than 200%. So that would be 200%, and then I'll see how it will actually print. You don't want to do much more than that, otherwise you're just kind of wasting your time. You're not going to see those differences in the print. Though if you're making a really large digital painting, you want to sweat all those details. So if you want to use digital painting for your final project, you're getting a sense of it with this project to understand how long it takes to get a finish. Now in this project, traditionally, I don't actually require you to have an even finish everywhere, to get full points. I just need you to demonstrate that you've tried all the things I've been showing you. So tried a custom brush, tried base painting, tried rough painting. A lot of you are just getting used to using the tablet. So I give you a lot of credit for being willing to play with those new technologies. Don't like that. And remember, you've got the navigator as well. To help you kind of move around, see what's most important, what needs work. And to kind of see where some of the highlights are, right? Now, as I blend, these colors are getting more intermingled. And so I need to go back and get my saturated color every once in a while, so I don't lose that drama. But now you can see the face with the refined paint looks very, very different, right? If I turn off the other layers, this can be fun. Oh, come on. Just making a mess of things. All right, so if I turn off my other layers, you'll see what the refined paint is doing. So this is the refined paint on the rough paint. This is the refined paint on the base paint. This is just the rough and the refined paint together. So you really need all three to make the full image. But you can see how I've been focusing mostly on the face, so I got to really work on this neck and the rest. And remember that tip to lock every layer that you're not painting on. I've seen you get in trouble. So again, hovering over options, stealing color a lot, working at this low opacity in the 30s, and blending some of those edges, some of those shadow tones, while still allowing all the paint to exist underneath.